So, hello everyone. I am back with another indie author interview, and today I am joined by Nicole Sanchez, who is the author of the King's Game series, as well as the new The Way Home, which is a sci-fi light title. So thank you so much, Nicole, for taking some time to chat with me today.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's just get right into it. So, what made you decide to want to be an author, and what was your path to self-publication?
What made me want to be an author? I've always been around books since I was younger. Both my mom and my sister worked in a Barnes and Noble. They were both managers. So I really grew up surrounded by books all of the time. And I was always like scribbling little stories here and there. And when I want to say like 13 or 14, like I was like Harry Potter, like role playing website and like the whole nine. And my friends and I would pass like notebooks around, just kind of like building up stories. And so that's sort of how like the writing has always just been there. And then as far as the um path to self-publication. One of my good friends did it and was like, you have to do this too. So that's how we got there.
Wow. And
Yeah.
did they kind of guide you through the process, or did you know about the process?
I knew nothing about the process. So she definitely guided me as far as like helping me set up my KDP account and um like how to format with Vellum and like make a Facebook group and like all that jazz.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
And what do you enjoy most about, well, let's actually, because you were writing fantasy, but then we kind of go into sci-fi. So what made you want to write sci-fi?
Um so when I wrote The Way Home, it was originally called Afterlife. Um it like the story just started as this really aggressive like burst of inspiration. I don't know that there was any like specific thing that I was like, I want to write a sci-fi. It was more just like, all right, so I'm writing this story and there are aliens in it, and that's how this is going.
Mm.
Um, and then as far as like genre hopping, I also have contemporary books, so I'm kind of like all over the map.
Hmm.
Um, and I have my ADHD to thank for that. So
Me too. Well, I think that's actually pretty cool that you're able to write in so many different genres. I think the only other author that I've interviewed that just comes to mind is Rebecca Hefner. Like she can write in literally any, she has her paranormal romance, she has her spicy romance, she has her like dystopian stuff. Like she has a lot of different stuff. So you're following in her footsteps here a little bit, which is actually pretty awesome because not everybody can write every genre well.
yeah, and when I started doing it, the conventional wisdom is if you're going to do multiple genres, have multiple pen names. And
Mm-hmm.
my friends will tell you, and I have a friend that helps me post on social media and stuff. She'll tell you I'm the worst at like scheduling and staying consistent. So I couldn't imagine managing like multiple identities.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even manage Nicole Sanchez. Like we can't add in like a this is my romantasy name and then
Mm-hmm.
I forget it. Like sometimes I forget to sign my name right at like book signings. So I'd be like, this is from this other identity. Here's the real signature that you want. So so sometimes I think I suffer a little bit for having done everything under one umbrella because readers are very habitual and really like to read one thing and they won't think to look elsewhere sometimes. And that's okay. So I have different romantasy readers and different contemporary readers, and we'll hopefully have different sci-fi readers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Awesome. And so how do you write your books? Do you plan? Do you pants? Do you do a little bit of both? What do you do? How do you write?
Um, I was what I like to say a plantser. So usually I would say, okay, well, I know that this is going to happen, and I know these other things have to happen along the way to the conclusion. And if you ever read Central Park Collision, which was my debut book, you'll see that I knew nothing about writing a conventional romance. And the editor that I wound up working with, we were under the gun, so we never really like got to like get into the like meat and nuts of like making the story what it could really be. And so like afterwards she was like, for your next book, like there are romance beats you need to make sure you're hitting, and like this is where this needs to go. And so my editor is one of my favorite human beings on the face of this planet. So she has really helped guide me and you know, shape my writing. But because I tend towards planting, things just sort of happen. And then I'm going, oh, okay, now I have to figure that out. Like the thing that happens at the end of the Queen's Gamble that
Mhm.
has a very brief like handling, and I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. That sort of seems like it comes out of nowhere is because it came out of nowhere. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're dealing with this now. Um, so as a result, sometimes I write myself into corners and I'm just like, ooh, how do I fix this?
Mm.
Um, The Way Home was written in a month, the first draft,
Wow.
90-ish thousand words from start to finish. And the story just flowed. Um, and then when I went back, I had such, and I wrote this back in 2021, and which is before I even started publishing. Since 2021, The Way Home is my ninth book.
Wow.
So you can imagine how my writing has grown. So not only in plotting a story out in like the actual like words and descriptions, and I think at one point my editor even left me a comment in The Way Home. She goes, my baby's all grown up writing good sex scenes. And I was like, what for? Um, but I have started to move away from plantsing because it takes me a lot longer, because I still don't feel confident in my storytelling ability. I do a developmental edit, and then I do a line edit, and then I do the copy proof at the end. And in order to streamline that process, because that's my editor has it for a month, I need to eventually get back to that. So that's probably another month for me to have it. And then it's back to her for a month, and then it's another month. And then you can see that's like 6 months.
Mhm.
So in order to try to streamline the process, I've started using outlines. I've done it with like 2 books so far. I don't know how it's going. It's only been 2 books.
You just figure it out. It sounds like you just figure it out, and that's just, I mean, 9 books is great to have under your belt. I mean, that's absolutely insane. I hope I can get to that. Um, what do you need in your writing space to stay focused? I know now you're trying something different with the outlining, and so what keeps you on task?
So I don't think you can really see it. It looks like this black blob behind me. That's a TV. My husband sits there and plays video games while I work, because having somebody in the room with me really helps me like,
A body double.
yes, yes.
That's
Um,
smart.
yeah, well, he'll sit there and be playing video games. He won't even be looking at me. He'll be like, do I need to take your phone? And I'll be like, yeah, probably, but let me finish this level of this game that I'm playing right now. I do also I have to turn it off because it's perpetually on, off, a little timer cube. So I'll usually set it for 15-minute intervals because that's a little less chaos on my brain. And then usually like when I come up for air at like 15 minutes, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to flip it again. But it's like a moment for me to be like, if I need to like go refill my water, or but now that he sits there, I'm just like, hey babe, can you refill my water? I'm in the middle of writing. And then because he's a hero, he does it. So
I love that. I love that for you. And so what's your kryptonite? What gets in your way of writing, whether that be something practical or mental?
huh. I mean, time is really bad. I need more of it. Um, there was a period of time what season are we in? We're in summer. So this past winter where I was trying to go to the gym, but then I'm like, all right, well, going to the gym is like a 2 hour long process because it's like going to the gym, it's doing the gym, it's the showering after the gym, and then I still have to eat, and then it's like 7 o'clock at night, and I work better in the later evening, but I'm also an old lady and I like to go to bed by 10 p.m.
Me. Last night I think I went to bed at 8.
Yeah, no. So I'm like, I don't want to be up until 10 o'clock because I know if I'm vibing at 10 o'clock, I'm gonna keep vibing until 11. And then my husband's upstairs falling asleep, and then he's snoring by the time I got into bed. And then I can't sleep because I'm like, you're snoring. Stop it. And then my cats are really confused. They'll like herd me upstairs. They'll be like, what are you do? It's bedtime. Um, so finding the balance between like going to the gym and writing. And actually Evie Mitchell was like, maybe your writing days just aren't like maybe gym days just aren't also writing days. Um, so it's really trying to find that balance of doing other things while also writing books.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, you're doing it.
Yeah.
What is your thing say? Look at me becoming an author and shit.
Yeah, this is a Christmas gift from I'm a drink gremlin right now. I went to the gym this morning.
There you go.
It is a Saturday, so I have all day to do things. I'm currently before this was sitting on my couch watching Chicago PD.
I love
Um,
Chicago Med, so I relate.
I'm going back through rewatching all of the
Mm.
Chicago's. But I'm actually nursing a headache. So I have my caffeine and I have my water. So I'm like alternating which liquid is keeping me alive.
All right, Nicole. So let's go into talking about The Way Home. And I know that we described it as sci-fi light, but if you had to describe it in like a full sentence rather than a phrase, what would you describe this book as?
Can you define a sentence?
It can be a run-on sentence. As long you can take a breath, you can.
Um, I mean, we had a signing last weekend in Norfolk, and Mike was like, "This is Independence Day." We sold 3 books that way. Like they were like, "Oh, it's a really nice cover," and then my husband was like, "Independence Day," and they were like, "All right, here's the money. Let's take it." Um, I would say it's a story of finding your reason for what you're fighting for. I would say it's a story about um, survivorship. Um, and I would say it's a story of the bonds of those closest to you.
Hmm,
Those are 3 sentences.
that's okay.
There's commas in
Yeah, there's comment between.
There's semicolons.
Your husband sounds like he's like the biggest hype man ever.
He is. He
That's
really is.
great. That's really awesome to have that.
Yeah. Mike is I refer to Gideon in this book as Morgan's emotional support human at one point, and that is what my husband did. Like he's always like, he's like, all right, I'm game. What are we doing today? Like, where do you need me? There is no challenge that he will turn down. So
How beautiful. That's
yeah,
awesome. That's nice to have.
yeah.
And so who is your favorite character to write in this book and why? If you say Seth, I'm leaving.
We just got a text message from one of my other ARC readers, and she was like, Seth's a weenie. And I was like,
He
yeah.
needs a role pair, maybe multiple ones.
Yeah,
Ooh.
he's well, Seth is definitely not my favorite character to write. Um, I think Gideon, but Dory through the revisions got stronger, and I also really liked like the voice that she wound up like having. Because in the first draft, Dory was just kind of like an ornament. She was like fighting for her to come back to her sister, and then like they had like very few like sisterly interactions. Um this is another reason why I'm trying to move closer to like outlining, because doing my drafting like this, I like focused on getting the story out and then expanding later. So it gave me a lot of surprises, like story. Anyway, I loved Gideon because I think he's the perfect book boyfriend. I write cinnamon roll men. I don't fuck around. Can I curse? I
Yeah.
don't. Um, I don't fuck around with like, I'm gonna be a dick to you just because I could be a dick to you, and then we're gonna fuck around, and then like you're gonna fall in love with me, and this is just the way I really feel about you, and like I don't know. All of the men I write love their ladies and are like here there's water on the ground, walk over my coat so you can pass it. And I think Gideon was just really fun to write. And so he's a cinnamon bun with a dirty mouth. He does not curse though, except for like those moments with Morgan. And that was actually an accident because I was writing parts of this on my work computer, and my work computer has a filter for curses, so I couldn't. So I was like, I'm not gonna curse on this. So I'm like, heck. And then my friends were like, no, that's actually like perfect. And I was like, all right. So Gideon does not curse, except, but yeah,
Except that.
yeah.
Who was the most challenging character to write and why? If you say Seth, I will stay.
um, challenging. I'm torn between saying Morgan and Serena.
I was gonna say Serena. I can imagine. She would like, I feel like once like they had that moment, like I was like, okay, fine. But like in the beginning, I was like, she's like being really annoying right now. Like you're like relax. Like we know what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna happen. Um, but I can also see, obviously like Morgan was like torn between two worlds pretty much. So that could also be pretty challenging.
For Morgan, it was a lot of she goes through shit
Yeah. A
on
lot.
Valkyria.
Yeah.
Valkyria. Um, she goes through shit, and like she's very obviously still dealing with some of it. Um, and Morgan and Gideon obviously helps, and like being back home and like surrounded by the people that she loves, um, really helped. But like she grew so much. And again, this is just like draft one. Like, because to me, they're like, I watch them grow up from like that first draft where they're kind of like not like fully fleshed out. Like I know her motivations. I know why she's doing what she's doing. Serena was worse in the first draft. If you read the bonus scene.
If it wasn't in the arc, then I didn't.
It had a link at the back of the arc to the
And
bonus
I
scene.
definitely didn't do it. Okay. Do you want to do like a live? Is it in here?
It's not in there. It's the bonus scene is if you sign up for my newsletter.
I'm an idiot, aren't I?
Not at all.
I have it. I definitely should have. I definitely signed up for your newsletter, didn't I? I'd be a piece of shit if I didn't.
I'm terrible at tracking that stuff. So yeah, it's on like the last page of text.
Well, I'm gonna go back to the arc and I'm gonna read it, and then right after this, and then I'm gonna message you what I think about it. So no
Okay.
spoilers for that because I didn't read
No,
it.
no spoilers for that. So this is your heads up that you have to make sure that you sign up and get it.
Yes.
But Serena was much worse in the first draft. Um, and I think for Serena, like she's really grappling with a lot of things. She's grappling with having lost and betrayed her best friend.
Mhm.
She's grappling with, okay, well, this is now like how my life is. Um, and I'm finally getting everything I want to a moment that she should be excited about, which is Morgan's return. And instead to her, it's a threat to everything that like she's built that helped her heal over the last 3 years.
Mhm.
Um, Meanwhile, Morgan has so much more healing to do. um,
You can't do it when you're being annoying.
Mhm. um, and I think it was just a matter of the girls being like, no, we're where we're supposed to be.
Hmm. I feel like this book like made me feel things, and I feel like I'm like talking and like engaging with you a lot more than I have with like other authors, and I don't know why that is. I don't know what it is about. Maybe I think it's just you, but um
It's a
but
special sauce.
but yeah, I think there's so many things in here that I think people can really go through, you
Yeah,
know, and people, do go through. And, I think it's kind of like that Stockholm syndrome a lot.
yeah,
And that's something that I kind of focused on when I was reading, because, you have some characters who are like, how could you do that? You're just, and then you look at where she was and you meet Bralic and you see, Bralk, I'm so sorry.
Ralph. No, 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 you're good. You're good.
Is Bralic another character somewhere? I don't know. Isn't that it must be in like Marvel or something. Um, and like then you meet him and you're like, oh, like I see why she had to do what she had to do. And it's like there's like that internal tension. I think it just like made me like feel things like, I don't know, like felt like sympathy and like empathy, but then I felt like angry at certain people. And then there were some things in there I did not see coming for sure, which I love to be surprised.
Oh,
um
you're gonna have to text me after this to tell me what you didn't see
yeah.
coming. I,
um
and which like makes me
Dory's friend I didn't see coming. i
okay.
didn't i didn't see it.
So there are certain things as an author that like I love to put my stories out there. But it's really different from when it's like my friends reading in a like Google Doc and they're leaving me comments being
Yes.
like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you just did this thing." To like, "Oh my god, he's so hot. Like this moment is like just everything." Um and as an author, like I just don't get that feedback from like for like specific moments and like knowing like what's really reaching readers.
Hmm.
I don't read reviews.
Which is
I read the early reviews of this only because I was like, oh, they're going to be positive. Like, right? They're going to be positive.
yes.
Um, and usually Mike will like check on like the numbers to see like that I am getting more reviews and how things are going. Um, because like I read one review early on and I was like, I'm terrible at this. Why does anybody read my books? But that's just a rite of passage as an author. It'll happen.
But there's also a way to, I truly feel there's a way to write a review where you're not being a complete asshole. And you're not a fucking editor. Okay. You're not an editor. Like you don't have any training. You're reading the book. All right. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But like there, I had some, what was it? One of these the authors, like I did an interview with her, and she asked me, she's like, can you give me feedback on this, because you arc read it. And basically someone was comparing her book to another author and another book, and I was like, what the are you doing? Like I don't like it made me so angry, because she was feeling like shitty, and I was
Yeah.
like, absolutely not. I'm like, that
Yeah.
reviewer doesn't know how to review books in the
Yeah.
proper way. So I think there's a way you can like say, I just didn't like it, it wasn't my thing, and not be an asshole and make somebody feel like that.
Well, I mean, my problem was it was fortunately they weren't like too harsh. There was a
Right.
DNF that was like whatever. It happens. And you know what? I'm totally okay with that. Like reviewers are for readers. That's not my space. Um, but I can't even remember where I started with this.
We were talking about you never get kind of like feedback from the
Oh
readers.
yeah, so I never really get that except usually with like my ARC readers. I'll get people being like, so this is my prediction and what's going to happen next. And um I actually have somebody who's reading all of my books for like hooks for like TikTok or whatever. And she's like, so tell me what's going to happen with this. And I was like, do you really want me to tell you what's going to happen with this? Or do you just want to like put your theories out in the universe and I won't react? And she was like, okay, do that. So like, have gotten very good at that. And so I like to get those messages. Like I love to be like, oh my God, I'm loving this moment. Or like, this is what I think is happening with this. And I don't think it's no, I'm not going to say it. I believe everything is a spoiler. I don't watch movie trailers.
I don't either.
I don't read blurbs.
Nope. I do
Lives.
read blurbs, but I don't like watching like I like House of the Dragon. We talked about this. I won't I hate when my husband wants to watch the preview for the next week. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking see it. Like I don't want to know what's gonna happen next week.
Mhm.
But he's like, you have to watch it. And I'm like, no, you can though. So I totally get that. I don't like I go into a lot of books blind though.
Yeah.
I look at like when I request a book, like on TikTok or Bookstagram, I see something. I go based off the tropes that I see. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, are there tropes or there hashtags, things that I like? And then I don't read anything about it. I just read it. So
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. I also prefer to go in blind, which sometimes has had me being like, oh,
Yes. Yes.
oh, if I'd read the blurb, I might have seen that coming.
Yeah.
But um, so yeah, so I won't comment, but they're on specific events in this book that people reached out to me about with their theories.
Mm.
Um, but I do love to know that like I'm like there is no greater compliment you can pay an author than like them hearing that like they were able to reach you on an emotional level as well. Um, because that's what I want. I want like my readers to like feel something and to like have these characters live rent free in your brain because you're just like they were just so good together. So it's interesting to get to hear that it's
But
happening.
I definitely need to read your contemporaries because I haven't read those. I read these. I mean, these automatically, like I told you, these automatically, I was like, fuck yeah, like mythology, that's my shit. And then when this came out, I was like I don't really love sci-fi, but like I'm gonna do it because I like Nicole, so I did, and fuck, great guy did. But now I need to read the contemporaries.
I've actually had a few people, and that's why I've been like really worried about this book. And there were actually a few times where I already had the cover, like I was ready to go, and I was like, should I even bother publishing this? Like, should this just stay somewhere in a drawer, a book that, you know, could have been? Uh,
Mhm.
because I was like, I just don't know how to market it. And like my conversation with my editor, she was like, do you want to market this as a romantic sci-fi or a sci-fi romance? And I was like, they're the same picture,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? And she goes, no, because a romantic sci-fi relies more heavily on the sci-fi versus a sci-fi romance where the romance is your focus.
Like a romantasy versus a fantasy romance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think that I managed to blend them pretty well. Um, I tried to make sure I gave everybody their spice because like I know what people want. Um,
People what they want.
yeah. um, I tried to make sure that I gave people what they want. And, you know, again, my amazing editor Amanda was like, you know, like this is, she was like, you have this great friends to lovers. She was like, we need a little bit more of the friends. She's like, I know you just want them to fuck. I know. No. Give us a little bit more and
Then
save.
they can.
I wish I'd saved my stats on this. I have them written down somewhere. The first draft, the first draft of this book was like 95,000 words. I did revisions on it because so back when I was these earlier books, I just wrote them in a fever haze. I revised them myself, and then I sent them for developmental edits. So my first draft was like 95-ish thousand words. The second draft was 130,000 words. And then I cut, I want to say like 85,000 words.
Oh my God.
And then my total word count for this book is somewhere around 140,000.
Wow.
So I pretty much rewrote the book.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of edits.
A lot of edits.
Wow. But it turned out beautiful. It turned out
Yeah.
wonderful. What is your favorite scene or quote in this book?
Yeah, this is how I could have prepared. I really love, it's not a sexy scene, but when she's being held and she's fighting with the Secretary of Defense, and she's like where's my lawyer? Like I get a lawyer. And he's like no. And she's like, abogado. And he's like, what? And then in walks the president. He's like, pretty sure she's not ordering breakfast. She wants a lawyer. Get the fuck out. I really love that scene. That's like just I laugh to myself. I crack myself up sometimes when I'm writing. I'm like, this is so good.
Love that.
As far as quotes, hold on. It's thankfully just on my Instagram. I'm just so clever. I really don't actually think that about myself. So I really love that you can do it on your own, but you're never alone. Which is Gideon to Morgan, because Gideon just has loved her because Gideon is the best.
He's the best. And so we have like this lovely cover. And
Yes.
so they're obviously how you imagine your main characters,
Yes.
or you can commission that. Do these people look like anybody that exists like in like the modeling acting world to you?
I don't know. Are you trying to get at someone specifically?
No. The question, our next question is, who would you fan cast for your main characters?
That's easy. So if you ever find my Pinterest, I have boards for all of my books that are like sometimes just vibes. Sometimes I'm just like, oh yeah, I love that person. In this book, Morgan was Evangeline Lilly.
Oh yeah.
And Gideon is James Lafferty.
I love that.
Yeah, grown up James Lafferty, man. So
Cool.
So those were my picks.
All right, so let's go on to the last part of the interview, which are just some fun questions, things that I want to know if I were getting to know somebody. So,
Okay.
other than reading and writing, what do you enjoy doing in your free time? I know some of them, but I won't spoil.
Is my husband an option?
Yes. Yeah.
Kidding this much. I love to run. I'm getting back into shape after things. Life. So, I actually have done a marathon and several Disney races. I love Run Disney. We're actually going out to California in February for the race.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love
Uh,
to,
sorry.
I'd love to do that. That's on my bucket list, but I've tried to do it and I can't ever get freaking tickets. It's
Yeah.
wild.
So you have to be on like 15
Yeah.
minutes before one sale.
Yeah.
Girl, let me know next time you want to do
I
it.
I do want to do it. We should do it.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm doing the Disneyland race, and sometimes they'll open up
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I've done almost all of the East Coast weekends. The only one I haven't done is the springtime surprise weekend because
Mhm.
then it gets into the hot time. It's in April.
Yeah.
So that's less fun. So I do that. I also like to do yoga, which I'm getting back to
I'm a
also.
yoga teacher, so I love that.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that. That's so much
I
fun.
do way too much shit. I'm a counselor and I'm a yoga teacher and I'm a Reiki master and I do all that. ADHD.
Hmm. I have hobbies like crocheting and sewing and
Yeah,
writing and reading and
but I was
um
just things that I've been interested in for like 1 month and then I buy all the stuff for it and then I put it away.
ask me how many tarot decks I have.
How many tarot decks do you have?
I have one, two, three, four, five.
But they're all for different things.
Yeah. Well,
So,
define different things. Different
like they're different
style.
types. They're different styles. So
Yeah.
I have all Rider Waite decks, but I have like the Modern Witch one. I have like a like mythology one. I have a Disney one, Disney villains one. That's Buffy. Oh, that
Hmm.
is so cool. My
Yeah.
husband like he loves Buffy.
Buffy was actually a major inspiration for The Way Home.
I can see it.
Did you watch all of Buffy?
I watched it in the mornings before I went to school at my grandparents' house. So I didn't watch it all.
Yeah. If anybody is a Buffy viewer, it is inspired by, I want to say it's the end of season 5. I want to say that's season
Mm.
5. Um, but yeah, I have Buffy, I have Supernatural, I
Yeah.
have the Disney villains, I have Star Wars, I have Catacorns.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? That might be it. That might be it. Okay. Yeah. So tarot, which I do on my TikTok when I remember
That is
to do.
really awesome. Well, I'll have to come on and get. I've actually had one tarot reading my entire life,
Okay,
um,
cool.
which is kind of crazy because like I love it and but whatever. Um, so let's see here. I love this question. It's my favorite question. So I'm going to open my Goodreads. Oh, who are
Okay.
some authors or books that you would recommend? And you can recommend all of our lovely friends, but I want some that aren't because I've probably read all their books at this point.
Okay. So I will stick to other things. So I'm going to give you Evie Mitchell. I love her to pieces. She's just so sweet. And her whole thing is
It's,
inclusive romance.
yes, I've seen the Thunder Thighs book.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um she's mostly known for Not My Type, which is a Shibari book. Ooh, yeah.
I'm here for that.
Mm-hmm. Um Tate James is a big feature on my shelves. And by big feature, I mean she's got 2 whole shelves.
Madison Kate or Hades?
Madison Kate is where I would start.
Okay.
So Madison Kate and Hades are connected, but the events of Hades take place after Madison Kate. But there is a caveat. There is a novella called Vault, which should be read after Hades.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Sinclair Kelly is amazing. I love her Ghost Girl series.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's
How do
a
you spell Sinclair? Oh, Siri. Okay. I have the Not Yours universe.
Yeah, she does Omegaverse. That's what she's most known for.
And what is Omegaverse? Because I read Summer O'Toole, her first book, and it says the Omegaverse, but I don't know what that is.
Um, so Omegaverse is an sort of like an alternate reality where humans have the same sort of like pack elements that you would like think of in like wolf shifters. So
Okay. Makes
there's
sense.
nodding, there's
Yeah.
like scenting, there's nesting, um, and but you're human, you don't shift.
Right, right. Okay, I can see where that is now, which you would probably like this book then. It's the Omega Trials. It just came out, Summer O'Toole.
I'm starting to play with reading Omegaverse for no particular reason.
There better be a particular reason.
I can neither confirm nor deny right now. Um, I mean, if you want to read more Omegaverse, Lola Rock is phenomenal. Um, I also love me some J.A. Lowe. And then if you've been following along with my recent Instagram posts about Evergreen Lake, I do have a shared world contemporary small town romance coming out this fall. So I highly recommend checking out all of those amazing authors because they're amazing and I love them. Especially my two Aussies who are like, we're building this town in like, it's supposed to be kind of like Lake Tahoe. And
Always wanted to go there. It looks beautiful.
they're like, so what's the closest city? And I was like, well, this place doesn't actually exist. So I was like, but the next closest city is like Reno, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So we have two Aussie authors that are just like, what is American geography? And I'm like,
So funny.
um, yeah, those are my big ones. I have so before I started publishing and really writing, I was actually a book blogger in the heyday of YA romance.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of the books on my shelves are like YA titles because I collected them and I don't want to let them go. Like they're like old friends.
That's what I started with, and then once I found Book Talk, then I started with adult. But I always read one, yeah, YA. Mm-hmm.
Um, like I have Melissa Gray and her Girl at
Yes.
Midnight.
The Girl in Nightmare.
The Girl at Midnight.
Yes, yes. And she wrote another one that looked really good, and it has pirates in it.
You're probably thinking of Valiant Ladies, which
Yes.
is a um, sapphic. They sword fight. They're not quite pirates, but yeah.
Yes, yes.
Um, I love her. She's amazing also. I'm just looking at all of my shelves. Sorry.
You're good.
Um, is there anything I'm missing? Because like I also like I have a lot of the highlights, like the big names. Like of course I've got like my Tessa Baileys and my Allie
Right.
Hazel. But like I like to like go for people that are not talked about.
I completely agree. That's why I do this.
Like DL Galley.
DL Galley, okay.
Um, she has a hockey series.
I fucking hate that I love you.
Yes.
I love hockey romance. Oh, I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
even fucking care about hockey, but I love it.
Mike always gets so confused when I'm talking about like how big hockey romance is, and he's just like, they're all dumb and probably have no teeth. Why like what's the obsession? Hot.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. They have to be in shape to do hockey.
Right? Why can't I Ali Shante, that's it.
Yes.
Living
Yes.
legend.
Yes.
Yeah. And then for contemporary, Shel Sloan and Shelley Cruz. Am I
Shells.
going fast?
How do you spell shell?
Chelle.
Sloan. Got it. And then what's the other one?
Shelley Cruz.
Shelley Cruz.
Yeah. She actually has a book based in Boston.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cruise like Tom Cruise?
Yes, she's SHELLYCRUZ. No, so not like Tom Cruise.
So not like Tom Cruise.
Not like Tom Cruise.
Perfect. I have a lot of good reading to do now because I feel like all I do is kind of read like arcs. So like I like to read books that are already out as well.
Yeah.
Here comes the dog. Here comes Elsa.
Oh, Elsa.
Elsa and Anna. Which is
Love it.
I'm crazy. Okay. All right. We see like we're perfect for each other because we get distracted. Advice for an aspiring author or a younger Nicole.
I don't know. I'm bad at this.
Keep
I don't
writing.
think I don't think I have enough like experience to give advice.
Really? You wrote
No,
9 books.
no, I know, but like I'm like I was talking to Harper Brooks,
Yeah.
who I did not include, and I only didn't include her because she's part of our
Yes.
thing. But like I was telling her about the signing, and I was like, yeah, I've gone to so many more signings, and somehow I was like the adult of the group, and I don't understand how that happened.
I heard that you had so much good advice and tips.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I like to do events.
Yeah.
And like because I love to meet people. I am an extroverted introvert at times. Like you can like this is veg out Nicole.
Yes.
Um but like I also enjoy that like being with people I love. Like that also recharges my battery. Um but I love events, and events I think are great regardless of how many books you have out. Never be afraid to like sign up for like put your name out and try because like you see authors that have like 2 books going to a polycon and they're like you have the stage. um and sometimes it's not even just about like the sales or the readers you meet. It's about the like the other authors that you meet, and like getting to make friends and like interact with, like we're colleagues, like we're not just like I feel like because authors are so isolated when we work, it's hard to think of the fact that like we're we're all on the same ish level. We all write books.
Mm-hmm.
And like there have been moments where like I've been talking to Harper, and you know, she'll be like, you probably shouldn't do that thing, and then I'll be like, I think I'm gonna do it, and then I do the thing, and then I'm like, I should have listened to you, I shouldn't have done the thing. And she's like, it's almost as if I have 10 years experience and you've only been doing this for 2. Okay, you with your wise old ears. But no, I love her. And, you know, like some mistakes you just have to make on your own.
Mm-hmm. And so your advice is just sign up for the thing. Least they could say is no, and then you're back where you are.
Do the thing. Just do the thing.
Love it. Do you listen to music while you write? And if so, what
Nope.
kind? You don't.
So I listen to classical music.
Okay. I respect it.
I'll listen to
very educated.
well, it's more like I will start writing the words.
Yes, that's what I do.
That I'm doing. So like I was at work and I listened to I'll listen to audiobooks or like podcasts at my day job. And I was messaging with one of my attorneys that I work with, and she was telling me like this really good thing that happened. And as I was typing to her, I listened to Stuff You Missed in History Class podcast. So somebody died in the podcast as I'm listening to it, and I go, oh my God, that's so terrible. And I sent it and I was like, I meant terrific, just so you know, I was listening to a podcast and someone died.
That's
So,
funny.
that's why I'll listen to like covers of stuff, like the Bridgerton soundtrack,
Hmm.
where it's just like the covers of like modern songs. I'll listen to that a lot too.
I like okay. So any place that you've been or want to go that have inspired any of the worlds that you've created? Two more questions. We got this. This one and one more.
No, you're fine. Places I've been that I mean, New York City inspired the Love in the Big Apple series.
Yes.
Um, that's a hard question that I also wish I'd had time to prepare for.
Said that this was kind of Independence Day. So this is set in where?
A random like suburb.
Okay.
I was intentionally vague about it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to like give it a place. Sometimes it's easier to do that so you don't get the, and I've done this too. I was reading a book and they had it based where I grew up and I was like, this wouldn't work.
Yes.
So with this book I went a little vague because of the, aliens. No, I wouldn't say that there's any like place in particular that like kind of place that inspired my
Okay.
book. Yeah.
And so the last question is, do you have any upcoming events, signings? What's going on? Where can we meet you?
Is there a time frame you would like me to stick to?
No, don't care.
Um, Next weekend, so the first weekend of August, I don't know when you're airing this, I'm going to be at Rock and Romance Readers in Knoxville. I'm going to be at Smut Lovers in September in Orlando. I have a few local signings actually in New Jersey. I'm going to be at the Collingswood Book Fest the first weekend of October, which is going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited. And then I'm in Tropicon in St. Augustine in February. I'm also in Parsippany, New Jersey at the Starfall Ball, which actually I don't think has technically been announced, but shh, don't tell anybody. It's their fault for waiting so long.
This will be airing like the third week of August, so hopefully they do it by then.
Whatever. I'm doing the Starfall Ball in Parsippany in February. I'm doing February, March, April. I'm in Utica at Romance in Central New York.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun. I actually went to school in upstate New York, so it's going to be nice to.
That is upstate. I'm glad you said it was upstate.
That is actually upstate.
I think your husband was talking about it.
I was too.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in Utica in April. In May, June, I'm actually headed back to Babe for Sydney, which also technically I haven't been announced yet, but it's fine. Shh. I'm going to be in Sydney.
Like Australia?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. It's amazing. I have a lot of things in the pokers in the fire for this. So that's going to be awesome. And then I'm in Atlantic City at Aces Wild in June. I'm also going back to SAS in June in Norfolk, Virginia. And then I'm doing Electric City LoveCon first weekend of August next year.
You have so much stuff. How do you do it? How do you do it? You just do it? I love this. I love this for you, and I love you, and I love your books. And so thank you so much for taking time to chat with me today. I know that we'll be talking soon. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm gonna go eat some deviled eggs because I made them for a party.
I love it. Deviled eggs are amazing. Thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun. I always love to talk books and nonsense, and hopefully I won't be nursing a headache that has me like going, what is a book?
Well, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Bye.